Oh, fuck, what's going on, guys? It's Horse Beef here. I just wanted to cover what happened last night at UFC Seattle. I want to quickly go over some of the other fights, aside from the main event where the controversy took place. But what a card it was overall. Some incredible results, man. Knockouts. I think after like the first 7 fights, it was 7 for 7 as far as finishes going. Many of them were brutal, man. Modestas Bukauskas got it started off with a nasty first round knockout. Again, Matsumoto and Rob Font went to war. Some people say it was a robbery. I don't know if I subscribe to that. I think it was pretty razor thin, and I believe that it could have gone either way. Not an egregious robbery, but I understand why people would have given it to Matsumoto. I think Matsumoto has so much potential. He just has to, clean up his striking defense a bit. And I think he has all the potential in the world. And Rob Font is my favorite ranked gatekeeper. I think he's like the perfect litmus test for these unranked bantamweights. He really is, and just the way that he's able to employ that game plan and just put it on guys with very, very, very basic striking. It's fun to watch. Javid Basharat fucking died. The Hulk, man, looked better than ever, and we got to see his personality in the post-fight speech as well. And the guy's awesome. Fluffy Hernandez with another win. He looked great. The middleweight Marab, 100%. Unfortunately, though, I don't know if I see him being a champion, but I can see him getting a title shot at the very least. But DDP, I think, is just like the perfect foil for someone like Hernandez, because he'll just Looney Tunes his way and Donkey Kong bonk him on the head. And I don't know if that pressure wrestling will be enough for Dricus, but still a lot of potential. Dude, this dude, he's getting cut because he's a fucking bitch, of course. And John Silva, man. John Silva being John Silva. This man has star potential 100%. And with Ilia Topuria out of the featherweight division, I see him as almost a shoo-in to be a future champion. I wouldn't be mad if the matchmakers were to just give him a top 10 opponent off the back of that win. I think he needs a push-up in competition. I want to see how he does against like a Josh Emmett, Giga Chikadze, somebody like that. I feel like him versus Giga Chikadze could actually be a really, really fun fight. Maybe that could be up next. But what a shot that he found on Bagdasarian. Bagdasarian looked really quick. He was actually catching John Silva a few times. But, man, with John Silva at 145 to have that power, man, all it takes is one. And he stood over Bagdasarian. He's looking at the ref like, dude, stop this shit. Bagdasarian looks over at the ref like, dude, stop this shit. And then the ref pretty much looks at them both and says, nah, Jean, finish this, man. And then Jean starts delivering those Yoel Romero 12-6 elbows to the rib cage until it's eventually finished, man. What a moment. What a fighter he is. What a finish. Wow. But yes, let's get into the real meat and potatoes, the main event, Song Yadong versus Henry Cejudo, and the eye poke. Because I've been noticing some real disrespect and some real shit being thrown on Henry Cejudo, suggestions that he was looking for a way out, that he's a coward, all this and that, as if anybody talking shit has any idea what it's like to have both of your eyes poked to the extent that Cejudo's eyes were poked. So fucking Song Yadong was knuckles deep inside of Henry Cejudo's body. Okay, I know how that sounds. And I understand that's just an average Tuesday for a John Jones or an Israel Adesanya or a Peyton Talbot or a Sean O'Malley. I understand that that's just a normal Tuesday for them, right? But to the uninitiated, right, most of us cannot withstand such punishment, right, when a man is deep inside you like that. We don't know what that's like, but try and put yourself in his shoes and look at the still frame that's on your screen. This man is literally knuckles deep in both of his eyeballs. Okay? He takes the full 5 minutes. The crowd's booing him because they think that he's wasting time. And the commentators weren't really doing him any favors either. You got Michael Bisping and Paul Felder suggesting, it's a veteran move right there. Use all the time. Get all the gas back. Meanwhile, he's trying to get his fucking vision back. I don't understand why everyone was against Cejudo when it was Song Yadong repeatedly fouling in this fight and no repercussions for it, like always, right? Which is to be expected at this point, because it's essentially the meta to sneakily foul your opponent, right? Incidental fouls over and over and over again with no repercussions. Because what exactly is the threshold for a point deduction? How many times do you have to foul? I don't even know, because it's so inconsistently applied. Song Yadong, especially with that one in particular, and not to mention the fact that when the fight resumed for the remainder of round 3, Song Yadong pushing Cejudo against the fence, pressuring him forward, right? What was Song Yadong doing? Fucking framing with his fingers directly in front of Cejudo's face. Once again, no mention from Herzog. I know Herzog is getting a lot of credit for the way that he officiated this fight, but he was not officiating it properly, in my opinion. I actually think that there was massive oversight there. He was not warning Song Yadong. He was not mitigating the fouling whatsoever. He was allowing it to take place. So no, Herzog gets no fucking respect for his officiating in this fight, because he allowed what happened to happen, and he allowed Song Yadong to benefit off of his fouling. The fight went to scorecards, and I see people saying shit like Cejudo was looking for a weight, or he was looking for a DQ. Then he would have said right then and there that he couldn't continue. He saw out the remainder of round 3, allowing it to go to the scorecards. What the fuck are we talking about? He was trying to fish for a DQ. He would have quit. He would have stopped fighting. He saw out the rest of round 3 with compromised vision, getting walked down by Song Yadong. Song was walking him down for like the last 30 seconds to 45 seconds of round 3, while Henry had completely compromised vision. At least that's what it seemed like, right? It seemed like he couldn't fucking see any shot coming at him. And that factored into the scorecards. And these are the official scorecards right here. So 2-1 for Song Yadong on 2 scorecards, and 3-0 for Song Yadong. Let's say that a point was deducted from Song Yadong in round 3. This fight would have been scored a draw, a majority draw. So pretty much everything worked out in Song Yadong's favor here. I understand that he was up on the scorecards, and he was deservingly so, right? Deservingly so. I think he was on the way to win that fight, but it's not like Cejudo was out of it. And keep in mind, I picked Song Yadong to win here. I expected him to win. I did. I thought he'd win this fight. So I'm not disappointed because the guy that I picked lost. No, I don't care about all the fucking pick rates and shit. I don't give a shit about all that stuff. I care about a fight ending and taking place the way it's supposed to. I hate seeing fights end this way, but I especially hate seeing fighters get shit on because they make a smart call for their own health and their own well-being. He's a 38-year-old fighter, and he was going toe-to-toe with Song Yadong. He was doing well. It was competitive, right? Despite the fact that Song potentially won every round, Cejudo was still in there. He did better than I expected him to. Looked pretty good on the feet, but not a whole lot of danger, like I said. All right? But still, he was in there. So I don't understand how you can shit on the man when you can clearly see that his eyes were horribly poked. I just don't get it. I'm having a really, really hard time wrapping my head around that, and I don't want to see the rematch either. I know Dana White said the same thing. Song Yadong, pretty honorable of him to want to run it back with Henry Cejudo, but I just don't see the point of it. I really don't see the point of it. And then you get this comment from Peter Yan under the post of Henry Cejudo, I believe, where he was explaining himself and why the fight turned out the way that it did. And I don't know exactly what Peter Yan's going for here, whether he's kind of being a douchebag to Cejudo. I know they're kind of cool with each other, so I'm not too sure if he would be, I guess purposefully being an asshole here with his broken English. It kind of seems like he's trying to say, hey, man, you were down in the scorecards. You should have just taken the DQ or whatever, right? But I just can't wrap my head around this at all, man. The idea going around that he was trying to game the system when he did the worst possible thing for himself in that moment. What he did benefited Song Yadong more than anything else. Maybe he didn't realize that in the moment, right? Maybe he didn't realize it, but he did, right? He did the perfect thing in that moment for Song Yadong, who fouled multiple times, was pretty much receiving no warnings from Herzog, and ended up benefiting from that in the end, right? Despite the fact that, of course, he was up on the scorecards, and based on those rules, yes, he was the rightful winner of that fight. I'm not saying that Song Yadong should have this win overturned or whatever. No, I'm not saying that. But with this result, it kind of just seems like Song Yadong won off of a foul. Like he's being rewarded for fouling, and we've seen this time and time again. John Jones essentially made a whole career off it. Of course, very high-level skills, coupled with the fact that he was very good at covertly eye-poking his opponent, and received 1 point deduction throughout his entire career, despite being one of the most notorious cheaters of all time. There's no such thing as fouling in MMA anymore, right? We're essentially watching no-holds-barred fighting in front of our eyes because fouls just aren't taken into account. They're not taken as seriously enough as they are. This is a fight, for fuck's sake. Compromised vision is a serious drawback when you're in a fight, when you're in a cage against elite competition. How is no one able to put themselves in Henry Cejudo's shoes and understand that he made the right call for himself and his well-being and potentially his career, right? If he wants to continue fighting, this was a good call for him. Because like he said, he gave Song Yadong credit. He said, man, standing in front of a fucking young, dangerous competitor like him, He could hurt me if I can't see. And he's absolutely correct in that assessment. He's 100% correct. And Henry also put up this picture this morning showing his left eye, which was the eye he was specifically calling out, saying that he's seeing double out of. It says this diplopia, which I believe is like the medical terminology for double vision, soft tissue damage, and a corneal abrasion. But he wanted a way out, right? He just wanted a way out, man. He was scared. And here is a comment that I read underneath of Henry Cejudo's post showing his eye damage. This guy says, bro, you were saying I can't see anything, which was a lie, considering you were only hit in one eye. It's just not the truth, right? He got hit in both eyes, but one eye in particular was causing double vision, and that's enough to be seeing double. You don't have to be seeing double in both eyes. And when he says I can't see anything, is he saying he's blind, like he's gone blind, or is he saying he can't see anything, as in I can't see the shots coming at me, which he went on to specify? So that shit's just crazy to say. You thought you had done enough to get a DQ or win the decision, so you quit. It's a damn shame. All that mount can't carry over in the octagon anymore, where these new fighters are just bigger, stronger, and faster than you. Move down or just retire and stop embarrassing yourself, because even Dana is tired of your shit, dude. This is just the epitome of a keyboard warrior, and it just exemplifies everything wrong with modern MMA fans.
A significant eye poke like that, do you believe a point should have been taken?
If you thought it was intentional. If you thought he intentionally poked him in the eye, do you believe it was intentional? Yes? Why would he poke him in the eye? He was doing pretty well. If he was getting his ass whooped and poked him in the eye, you could probably make the argument.
Like, what the fuck am I even hearing from Dana White here? So with that logic, the fighter who is down on the scorecards is at a severe disadvantage in the event that a foul is made against them, because the benefit of the doubt has to be given to the fighter who's winning, because they're winning the fight. So why would they foul intentionally? But how many fighters actually foul intentionally? How many points have I seen deducted for fouls that were potentially just incidental? But there's never a question about that. But how many incidental quote-unquote fouls have to be made before you forget about whether it was intentional or not, and just focus on the fact that fouls are being made that are affecting the result of the fight, that are affecting the fighter on the receiving end of said fouls? Okay? Now, the reason why this shit pisses me off so much is not because it's Henry Cejudo or because I'm a super fan of his or whatever. No, I like the guy. I think he's funny, and that's pretty much it. I enjoy watching him fight, and I picked against him in this one. So you guys need to understand that I don't have a bias towards Henry Cejudo or against anybody. I'm just sick of the fouling being not only going unpunished, but almost being rewarded at this point. Like, I get it. I will reiterate. I understand that Song Yadong was up on the scorecards, but a point deduction would have changed the result of the fight there, right? Would have changed the decision. The decision would have been a draw, right? Henry Cejudo wouldn't have had a loss on the record if the rightful action just took place and Song was deducted a point for the multiple fouls. Repeated fouls should always result in a point deduction. Doesn't matter if it's one eye poke, one nut shot here and there. There were, I believe, 2 nut shots and an eye poke, right? And that one eye poke was actually 2 eye pokes, right? He fucking straight up Chris Weidman his ass. So please, man, I have nothing against Song Yadong. I think he's an awesome fighter. He's a great prospect still, and I don't believe that he would do it on purpose. But this logic from Dana White is just crazy. A point should only be deducted if you believe that it was intentional. So then where's the line drawn? How many fouls, man? Listen, I keep repeating myself, but it really is just so mind-blowing that the face of this company, right, believes this, thinks this way. Or he just has it out for Henry Cejudo because of all the fucking fake retiring, unretiring, and all this shit that he's done and, dicked around with the UFC. Maybe this is just Dana White's disdain for the guy, kind of coming through. But either way, man, Henry Cejudo was dealt the shit end of the stick in this fight, and that's just as simple as it is. I would like to know your thoughts on this fight card, on this fight in particular, on the result of the fight. Really, any of your thoughts on my thoughts, anything that you guys want to let me know, just let me know in the comment section below. And anyway, I do appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.